Before we get started on this episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, I just wanted to make you aware that next week there won't be a new episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. I took a little break, took a little vacation, and yeah, there just won't be a new episode next week. So we will be back in 2 weeks with Season 2, Episode 9, whatever it's called. I don't have the episode list in front of me, so I don't know what it's called right now. So, yeah. So I'll see you guys back in 2 weeks. Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Jujutsu Kaisen. Last time around we had Evening Festival, where Mechamaru tried his best to defeat Mahito. However, Mahito has the power of plot armor and garbage on his side, and unfortunately defeated Mechamaru and seemingly killed him. I'm pretty sure he might just be dead. I hope not, because they just, did this thing where it's like, oh, he's actually in love with Miwa, and Miwa clearly likes him. So hopefully they didn't just do that just to tug on our heartstrings, and he's actually still alive somehow. Hey, if he's in critical condition, it's not like that's much different from the way he was. So, he can survive. Mechamaru's a survivor, so hopefully. Hopefully he survived. And then it's Halloween night in Shibuya. A veil has been lowered over Shibuya, and it's one where normal people cannot get out. And all of them were told to call out for Satoru Gojo. And sure enough, that night he entered the veil. So yeah, that's pretty much where we are. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure, so let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. Here we go. Honestly, I can't be bothered to understand what they're talking about. I'm just going to wait for them to do it. I've kind of given up on talking in Jujutsu Kaisen. It's everything they talk about, I try to understand it, and it just makes me mad. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna enjoy the pretty fights, and I'm sorry if that is not very interesting for these videos, but if I try to think of things, I'm just gonna be mad, and I'm just gonna rant about things. And I mean, it's not like there's anything bad here, but it's just okay, it's clear that it's okay, we're teasing the fight for next time. So let's spend, how long was that? 5, maybe 8 minutes on exposition of, oh, here's how you'll do it. You'll surround him with normal, blah, 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 and you'll do this and this and this, and then you'll use the expanded domain or whatever, or not expanded domain, the domain extension or whatever, but you can't use your domain, because if you use your domain, then he's going to use his domain, then blah, 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 and then I'll trap him in the prison. I was like, got it. We'll see all that next time. I don't care. I just do not care. It is still, again, another major problem. I say another, it kind of ties into the major problem, is that these villains are so laughably bad. Just they're all at a playground. Now, none of them can be seen by normal people, except Gato. So he's just hanging out on a play set, and he's talking to all these cursed spirits, and Mahito and Hanami are, just running around and frolicking. It just shows how they are the least threatening villains ever, And also on the fact that it's I know they have this whole big plan and everything to kill Gojo. But look, unless it happens, I don't buy it. I just don't buy that these guys are good enough to kill Gojo, No, wait and see. It could still happen, but again, it's just these villains are such garbage. Except for Hanami. And I guess Jogo is pretty basic. He's just a big evil spirit, whatever. Hanami I kind of like. But everyone else, Mahito, Gato, they're all just terrible, so. Even though I do at least get Gato now, so. with that said, rant complete for today. We're not gonna do rants anymore. And yeah, I just like, look, they just saying a bunch of things, and it's just like, alright, I'm just gonna turn my brain off. Like, I don't. Like, there's no point in me listening to it. Just get to the fight, you know? And we did get at least one fight. We got Itadori and the Locust, which was interesting. The first episode where we really have Itadori doing something, like, all season. Like, that's the first big thing he's done all season, you know? So, and before that, we had the movie, so it's nice. He's finally back. He's finally doing stuff, and he's getting rid of a Locust who's just this fine, regular grunt, you know? He thinks he's clever. He has a big Locust dick, and then he cut off his big Locust dick, and then that was that. You know, it's an interesting thing, and I just thought of this, because they did the whole thing of, you know, explaining, like, the history of locusts and, you know, why they're such a plague. Literally, they're one of the 10 plagues upon this earth. And it's an interesting thing, you know, like, it's interesting because, like, for how much they go into that, like, I mean, they did take it the JoJo route, basically, where it's like, oh, and now the narrator is going to explain this thing that somehow relates to the fight, you know? Mary Queen of Scots in the 1600s or whatever. It's like, it's that kind of JoJo, like, now we're going to explain everything even though it really doesn't matter, you know? But it's interesting because then you have this whole explanation for a very minor villain, you know? And it's interesting because I just had this thought just now, is that, you know, I would love to see, like, a Locust Devil in Chainsaw Man, you know? Because there's a lot of similarities, I would say, between Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man. But, like, that's the whole thing in Chainsaw Man is, like, you know, devils have, you know, greater powers based on how feared they are by humans, you know? So the Chainsaw Devil, that's pretty crazy. The Gun Devil, that's insane, you know? Honestly, I would kind of think a Locust Devil would be up there, you know? So I kind of want to see that. Essentially, I want to see this character in a better show, you know? Oh, well. But still, I mean, even still, like, that's not really a knock on this episode. It's like, oh, he's not that important. It's like, no, it's fine. Again, it's sort of the JoJo thing of, like, you know, we're going to have this big explanation for ultimately a one-off villain that the main character beats up. That's very JoJo, you know? So I'm used to that kind of stuff. And it was fine. It was a fine fight. I like that. I like Itadori getting praise from Mei Mei. I don't like her little brother. Her little brother in his, like, lederhosen or whatever. Like, he's kind of annoying. You know, he reminds... The two of them now remind me of... They remind me of... what was it? Yushiro and Miss Tamayo in Demon Slayer. It's kind of like that, where it's like you have the older woman who's, you know, all nice and pretty and cool, and then you have the young boy who is like, who's like angry because someone else is interacting with her. It wasn't as annoying with Yushiro, though. I mean, for one thing, he wasn't her little brother, but I don't know. It could also be that Miss Tamayo was not stupid, and Mei Mei, and this is all on her hair, and I know I'm one to talk about someone's hair, but her hair, it was literally like the horsetail, you know, ponytail right in front of her face. Did she always look that stupid? Like, when we saw her in the Hidden Inventory arc, did she look that stupid? I don't remember her looking that stupid, you know? So on top of the fact that she looks stupid, she has this annoying little brother that's, you know, giving Itadori grief. Granted, Itadori doesn't care, you know? Like, Itadori barely notices. He's just like, so can we go fight now? You know? Like, Itadori, like, on some level, he's basically just Goku, you know, where he's like, oh, can we go fight? I mean, it's different with him, because, you know, where he gets the more depth. I'm not saying that Goku doesn't have depth, but you know what I mean. It's like where he gets more of the depth rather than just like, oh, let's go fight, is now when Mahito is brought up. And I like that. I like that he, you know, he remembers Mahito and he is ready to kill Mahito. So that's at least good. Yeah, I guess it's... God, is that it? Is that it? That felt fast. I don't know. But, yeah, that's kind of all I got. A good episode overall. Again, the only problem in this episode is just the problem with the show. The villains are not threatening. They are not interesting. They're not likable in any sense, you know? With the exception of maybe Hanami, I give Jogo a little bit of a pass because he's pretty basic, you know? But, whatever. I don't know. That's kind of it. And next episode, more fighting. That's pretty much it. It's like, next episode, pretty much probably the rest of the season, just more fighting. And you know what? I'm just going to kind of turn the brain off and just sort of accept. That's pretty much what I did last episode. When it's just like, oh, here's, you know, Mekamaru versus Mahito. I'm like, well, okay, Mahito's clearly going to win because he's the main villain. And they're making us all sad because Mekamaru is in love with Miwa. And I'm just like, oh, look, the animation is beautiful. You know, like, you literally just got to, like, turn off your brain. I know that sounds really bad, but I'm just like, you know what? I don't need to get into the weeds of this. I'm just going to enjoy the fighting. Which, in a shonen battle anime, that's most of the show, so I'd say we're doing well. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Jujutsu Kaisen reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.